Sector expanded for the first time since April, and the country could escape recession, right?
Well, that's the case. What we've seen is at the end of the year, a little bit of growth in the German economy, driven by the service sector more so than manufacturing. Now, if Germany was to fall into recession, it would also have to contract in the first quarter of next year. But what we're seeing is maybe it's going to just miss that situation, which should be positive for the Eurozone as a whole.
But as you mentioned there, manufacturing not quite as upbeat as services. In fact, if the German manufacturing is shrinking, then that's bad news not only for Germany but for the Eurozone. Yes, and what we tend to find is manufacturing is a very cyclical sector, which suggests there's still some cyclical weakness in the German economy as a whole. But where German manufacturers are being hit hardest, that's with the global demand picture. Exports in Germany fell very sharply according to our numbers, and that's because of this global economic slowdown we're seeing. Is there anything to suggest in the German manufacturing numbers that we're near a bottom here? Well, we have seen those numbers, edge slightly up over the last couple of months. So that could suggest that it's coming back towards a stagnation point. But again, demand picture and the export picture is still looking pretty bleak, so it would take a bit of time on that score. Well, that's Germany. What about France, the Eurozone's #2 economy? It's not looking much better there either, is it? It's a #2 economy in terms of size, but it's not the #2 economy in terms of performance at the moment. The French numbers from the PMI have been pretty dire over the last few months, and that's going to be a serious drain on the Eurozone as a whole, and really means that the recovery we saw in Germany is going to become much more of a one-pivot recovery on that basis. Now, economist Nouriel Roubini, a man not known for his optimism, he said earlier this week that France is headed for recession next year. Is that something that we're seeing from those PMI numbers too? Well, as I say, the French PMI numbers have been pretty weak over the fourth quarter, not coming into the first quarter next year with much momentum, and so that does put France in a direct position to potentially fall into recession. Yes. And just to round it all up, what do today's numbers do to your overall outlook for the Eurozone economy? Does it make you any more or less pessimistic? It makes me less pessimistic. Again, that headline Eurozone index has been rising over the first few months, not spectacularly, but some edging higher. And that means that we could see the Eurozone possibly record some growth in Q1. But with the fiscal cliff, debt crisis talks ongoing, despite some resolution recently, that could derail any recovery we see.